coverage.
March Madness is coming up next on TV3 Sports.
Stewart, here's a 2-on-1. Peters, he'll shoot, he scores!
Oh, he blasted a wrist shot right into the top corner and beat him cleanly to the glove side. Listen to this crowd. Dump back in, and here's Matthews. 20 seconds. Back to Lindstrom. He'll dump it. It's loose in front, and they score!
The Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils have progressed nicely in their first 6 years of existence, and in this, a supposed rebuilding year, their energetic head coach, Tim Zimmerman, has seen his players exceed expectations, tying Southgate Anderson during the regular season and taking second place in the Metro League East Division. Everyone will be gunning to knock off the defending state champion Southgate Anderson Titans as they start their journey back to Flint. But head coach Frank DeCristofaro has his guys healthy and hungry for another state title. And who better to lead the way than All-Staters, forward Ron Patterson, defenseman Eric Zimmerman, and goaltender Rich Nagy. It's the first round of the high school hockey playoffs, the regionals, the Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils versus the Southgate Anderson Titans. Next on McLean Hunter Cablevision, TV3 Sports. TV3 Sports proudly presents the Game of the Week.
From Yak Arena in Wyandotte, McLean Hunter Television brings you the Michigan High School Hockey Playoffs. Tonight's game features Grosse Pointe South against Southgate Anderson. Good evening, everyone. I'm Pete Krepsky, along with CompuWare head coach Andy Weidenbach. Of course, Andy, one of the fine amateur coaches in the Detroit area. We're happy to have him here with us tonight. And Andy, when you talk about these two teams, Grosse Pointe South, a very defensively minded team, I don't think they're going to change their game plan here this evening.
Well, I don't think they should, Pete. I think they got to do what got them here, and I think they should stick with their game plan. And, of course, as you know, in the playoffs, goaltending's the key.
And certainly Kevin Nesler, the Blue Devils goaltender, has had an outstanding year this year. And if he's on his game, Grosse Pointe South can knock off this very fine Southgate Anderson team. But, of course, when you talk about the Titans, Andy, they remind me a lot of your team. They wear kind of similar colors. And when they get going, they're like that big machine rolling over the opposition. I think if they can score a couple of goals early, the game could tilt in their favor.
Well, I think you're right, Pete, but I think Southgate's got to be patient. As you know, the game isn't won and lost in the first 10 minutes. It's won and lost in the last 10 minutes. So they should be strong for the entire game. And if they stick to their game plan, they definitely are the favorite here.
And, of course, we talked about Kevin Nesler in the Grosse Pointe South goal. Rich Nagy is back after an injury, and he'll be manning the Southgate Anderson nets for the rest of the playoffs. We'll be back with the opening face-off between Grosse Pointe South and Southgate Anderson right after this message. You're watching the Michigan High School Hockey Playoffs on TV3 Sports. high school hockey playoffs. Tonight's game features Grosse Pointe South and Southgate Anderson. Right now we're getting the starting lineups for Southgate Anderson introduced. They are being coached, the Titans are, by Frank DeCristofaro, as we see the Titans huddled around starting goaltender Rich Nagy. Of course, the Titans in their road jerseys, that may seem a little strange because we're in Yak Arena, but at neutral sites during the playoffs, things change in what seem to be peculiar ways, but it works well in the playoffs. Now Grosse Pointe South is being introduced. Kevin Nesler will get the starting goal. On defense, we'll see Bill Quinn along with Peter Burke. Up front is Jim Pappas, along with the captain, Mike Kiskalt, and Brian Crane, their fine sophomore scorer. Now we'll see the last two meetings between these two teams. Southgate defeated Grosse Pointe South 5-2 in December, and then about a month ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago actually, Southgate and Grosse Pointe South tied at 3. Here are the starting goaltenders for this evening. Rich Nagy, the fine All-Stater from last year, gets the start for Southgate. Kevin Nesler, a 4-year player for the Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils, will play goal for them. And he is a type of goaltender that can stand the opposition on their heads, Andy.
Yeah, that's right, Pete. These goaltenders both have great goals against average, and you'll notice that Nesler's only given up 2.62 goals against with...
Andy, let's break for the national anthem.
Okay.
We're ready to get this playoff game underway. And Andy Weidenbach, I didn't mean to interrupt you for the national anthem, but you were talking about Kevin Nesler.
Well, Nesler has a great goals against. He's given up less than 3 goals a game. Nagy given up less than 2 goals a game. And this could be a goaltender's battle here tonight.
Certainly, we saw that in one of the earlier games, TV3 broadcast between Trenton and Southgate Anderson, a 1-0 victory for the Trenton Trojans, and if all holds true to form as far as Southgate Anderson fans go, Southgate Anderson and Trenton will meet in the regional final, and TV3 will have that game for you later on. Right now we're getting a good look at Tim Zimmerman, the Grosse Pointe South coach. He's giving Kevin Nesler his final instructions, and there's Frank DeCristofaro, Andy, one of the fine coaches in the Downriver area.
Yeah, Pete, Frank's really a great coach, and he's a very enthusiastic coach. He's very colorful. He's good for the game. The players seem to like him. They really respond well to his enthusiasm.
Now we're going to take a look at the Metro League standings, the final standings. There you have it. Southgate defeated Grosse Pointe South in the battle for first place in the East by 2 points. In the West, a great battle between Brother Rice and Trenton, and Brother Rice actually defeated Trenton by 1 point, although they had a couple of games in hand. But Brother Rice certainly favored to win their regional, and if everything holds true to form for Southgate Anderson fans, Brother Rice and Southgate Anderson will meet in the regional quarterfinal. That happening about 10 days from now right here at Yak Arena, and TV3 is hoping to be there covering that game as well. As we see Frank DeCristofaro, one last chance to pump up his troops before the puck is dropped.
Looks like Frank's really getting them wound up here before the game. That's his style. He really likes to get them pumped up, and you'll see a lot of Frank during the game, I'm sure.
If you can't see him, you'll hear him, no doubt. We'll be able to hear him up here. Right now, we're getting a great picture of the third team on the ice, the officials, who are Rick Wheeler and Jim Gagliard, along with the linesman Mike McComb, and they are setting down the rules for this game, and I think that's a great idea, Andy.
Well, you got to know where you stand here, and these officials definitely have a great impact on the game, so I'm sure that they want to get everything cleared up before they drop the puck.
Here we'll take a look at the road to the finals last year for Southgate. In the regional final. They defeated Trenton 2-1 in double overtime. Then victories over Brother Rice, Port Huron, Northern, and Flint Powers to win their first ever Class A high school hockey championship in Michigan. And their road to Flint starts right now as the puck is dropped and it's in Southgate territory. Chris Patty, back from a long bout with an injury, a bruised shoulder, dumps it into the Grosse Pointe South zone. Burke to the sophomore Crane and back to Burke. And the Blue Devils break it out slowly. Here's Pappas at center ice for the Blue Devils, dumping it into the Southgate zone. Nagy out of the net to play it for Zimmerman. He's battling along the boards with Crane. Zimmerman up the boards for Pat Crowley. Now Crowley to Patty, can't get it out. Crane kept it in, but now Southgate dumps it to center ice. Now Zimmerman, a long pass too far ahead for Jason Hayes, will go into the Southgate zone, into the Grosse Pointe South zone. Icing waved off, and Burke now for number 6, that's Bill Quinn. Quinn dumps it carefully into the Southgate zone, and the Blue Devils go for a line change. Now here's Crowley, checked on the play by number 14, that's McCracken. McCracken was checked in turn by Amagoni. Now the puck's still in the Southgate zone, and Patterson has it. Ron Patterson for Southgate. Right wing pass for Hayes. Knocked down in neutral ice by Steve Tucker. 2 Tuckers on the Grosse Pointe South team. They're brothers, and we'll get into that in a moment. Play in the Southgate zone brought out by Patterson. Patterson and Hayes over the line. Patterson cleared it to an open wing in the Grosse Pointe South zone. And the Blue Devils will clear it to center ice. Zimmerman travels back into his own zone for the puck. Passed it up for Matthews just on the ice. He lost it, and it was David Auld clearing it into the Southgate zone for the Blue Devils. They'll go for a line change. Amagoni fell down, but it's picked up by number 27, Clark. Now a big hit on the play in the zone by Wawerzik, and now here comes Southgate. A long shot by Matthews was wide of the Grosse Pointe South goal, but it was offside on the play, and we'll get a stoppage with 13:06 left in the first period.
But does Grosse Pointe look disciplined on this beat, on this forecheck? They're putting 2 guys in, they're keeping 1 guy back all the time, and they're really picking up their checks well.
There you see one of the unsung players on this Southgate team, Charles Matthews. 11 goals. Guys like Ron Patterson get a lot of ink and publicity, but Matthews does a good job as well. Now Clark for Southgate in the Southgate Grosse Pointe South zone. Centered in front, but cleared away by John Olmstead. Titans still have it in the Blue Devil zone. Now the Blue Devils break it out with Wawerzik. Center ice pass for Wright. Wright, a long shot from the right wing, and a save made by Nagy. No problems for that for Rich Nagy. We'll take another look at that, Andy, and you'll see Nagy really didn't have many problems with that.
It's interesting on this play that Grosse Pointe sent 3 guys to the net on this one. They were hoping for a rebound or possibly a good bounce in their favor, and of course Nagy just gobbled this one up pretty easily.
Tim Zimmerman making another line change. He's made about 4 line changes in the first 2 minutes of this game, and I think he'll do that as much as he can. Try to keep the tempo up and try to keep the troops fresh. Now a shot from the right point by Auld went wide of the Southgate goal. Now the puck's still in the Southgate zone, and this is Mark Landis with it, being bodied on the play. And now the Titans break it out with Paul Witt. Long flip shot wide of the Grosse Pointe South goal. Nesler out of the net to play it up the left wing boards. Centered in front, but cleared away by David Auld. Auld ahead for number 18, that's Morale. He was checked in the Southgate zone by Zimmerman, who cleared it into Blue Devil territory. Now Auld checked on the play by Witt. They continue to battle in front. It squirts out in front of the net, cleared away by Steve Tucker, but we get a stoppage in play with the net in Grosse Pointe South territory knocked off the moorings. So we've got 11:56 left in the first period. No score between Grosse Pointe South and Southgate Anderson. Pete Krupski and Andy Weidenbach bringing you this one, and a good crowd here at the Yak Arena. Something we'll see all week long as the Region 4 Class A Regional High School Hockey Finals will cook as the week goes on. Now Zimmerman back on the ice, dumps it into Grosse Pointe South territory. Back in his own. Junior junior defenseman, good-looking defenseman, dumps it down the ice off the glass into Titan territory. Nagy out of the net to play it up for Crowley. Crowley tipped it ahead. Patterson couldn't get it out. Now it's his call for Pappas. He's checked behind the Southgate net by Zimmerman. Keeping it in right point is Quinn. Dumping it to an open corner. His call, left wing boards for Pappas. Centers it out in front, and Zimmerman cleared it away. Now it's centered in front, and Nagy cleared it away. Crane was dumped off at the side of the net by Crowley. Now Grosse Pointe South keeping it in, but here comes Zimmerman leading a rush. Long pass ahead for Hayes. Right wing shot. He rang one off the goalpost. Chime time for Jason Hayes. And the first break of the game, perhaps, for Grosse Pointe South. Now Burke behind his net for the Blue Devils. Dumps it off the boards, and he'll get it out to center ice. Amagoni throws it back into the Grosse Pointe South zone. Here comes number 6, Bill Quinn with it. Checked at center ice. Clark for Southgate. Chases it in the Grosse Pointe South zone. They continue to battle. Kept in by Amagoni. A shot. Looking for a deflection in front. But Clark was tied up by Quinn. Zimmerman pinches in left point. Looks to make a play. Brings it out. Took a shot. Mesler the save. And now the Blue Devils come back with Olmstead. Left wing pass for Warzek. He was checked in the Southgate zone by Amagoni, and the puck is cleared out of play, no more than 6 feet below us, and we'll get a stoppage in play. Sustained action, Andy, and good action early in this game.
Great pace and a great shift by Eric Zimmerman. That pass was pinpoint, tape to tape, and he caught Hayes in full stride, and he just grazed the pipe on that one.
We're going to take a look at it right here, Andy.
And here he comes down the wing, and he really rifles this one off the pipe. And it looked like Nestler had a pretty good angle. He was well out of the net on that one.
So the first break of the game caught by Grosse Pointe South, and the game remains scoreless. Now the face-off in the Grosse Pointe South zone brought out by the Blue Devils. Steve Tucker dumps it into the Southgate zone. It's played up the boards. Now here's Sage dumping it to center ice. Falling down on the play was Clevenger at center ice, and then he was knocked down by McCracken. They continue to battle in neutral ice. McCracken will clear it to the Southgate blue line. Patty, left wing pass, neutral ice for Witt. Witt dumps it into the Grosse Pointe South zone. Chasing it is Steve Tucker. Up the boards for Morale. Morale being bodied on the play by Witt. A shot from the left point right on. The save made by Nesler. The shot by Patty. Now here's Landis pinching in right point. Going in deep. Lost the puck, but keeps battling. He's battling there with David Auld in the corner. And finally, the 3 players will hold it and get the face-off. 9:20 left in the first period. No score between Southgate Anderson and Grosse Pointe South. There we see Mark Landis, a sophomore, big guy, Andy, and they call him Marmaduke, and I can see why.
Yeah, he's working those corners pretty tough, and it looked like Southgate starting to pick up the pace a little bit here, and they put 3 guys in front of the net on this shot, hoping to get a rebound, and you'll see Patterson coming to the net here. He's really working hard to get a good scoring opportunity.
Now Grosse Pointe South sending out right, centering Warzek, and number 16, Olmstead. That's the forward combination. Burke is paired with Bill Quinn on defense. Patterson playing on the right wing. Barges over the line, took a return pass in the slot, but lost it. Now here's Warzek working around the check of Amagoni, working into the Southgate zone, and the puck is batted with a glove, it looks like, and play is whistled down as Patterson of Southgate and Warzek of Grosse Pointe South are nose to nose, but nothing will come of that. There we see Tim Zimmerman, an outstanding coach, and he coaches in your league, actually helps Nace Redford when he can, Kyle Krug's team.
Yeah, Tim Zimmerman's a good coach, and you can tell by the way his team's playing tonight that they're well coached. They're really picking up their checks well, doing a great job defensively.
Now Burke off the face-off, golfs it into the Southgate zone. Picked up by Amagoni, plays it off the boards, but brought in, back in by Wright. Now Zimmerman behind his net. Plays it up the boards for Jason Hayes. Gabby bodied off the play by Wright. Patterson Ahead for Zimmerman at center ice. Long shot over top of the Blue Devil net, and it'll be called on the offside. Seems like Southgate is trying to get some pressure on Kevin Nesler, Andy.
Boy, I saw Zimmerman take off on that play. He just really activated himself into the play there, and he let a whistling shot go over the net. He can really shoot it.
There you see the time left in the first period. No score between Grosse Pointe South and Southgate Anderson. Face-off just outside the Blue Devil blue line. It's Patterson, Hayes, and Matthews out there now for the Titans. Landis and Patty on defense. Now Hayes from center ice dumps it into the Grosse Pointe South zone. Pappas tries to play it ahead. His call will to the Southgate blue line. Patterson dumped it back out to neutral ice. Chess match now in this game between the blue lines. Now Patty tries his luck, dumps it down into Grosse Pointe South territory. Icing indicated, and there's the call. Seems like both teams playing a little bit of chess now territorially.
Well, you can see that these teams don't want to cough the puck up in the neutral zone and maybe get a breakaway or a pinching defenseman or something like that. So they want to play it a little more conservative than you would if it was just a regular season game.
Of course, Andy Weidenbach, one of the fine coaches in the Detroit area. His team, the CompuWare Tier 2 team in the North American Junior League, undefeated as we speak. And we'll get more into Andy's background in a moment. Here's a shot right on off the face-off by Crane. And Nagy really not a difficult save there, and he made it, and he'll get the face-off.
I'm sure Frank DeCristofaro told Rich not to take any chances, and he immediately jumped on that puck, and he doesn't want to give Grosse Pointe a chance to get a lucky rebound in there.
His call, Crane and Pappas out there for Grosse Pointe South. This is their big scoring line. Gary can't get it out. Crane set up in the slot, misfired on the shot, and here come the Titans back over the line. Wright chases it into the corner. Bodied off the play now. Gary taken off the play. Crowley in front, a backhand shot, and the save made by Nesler. As that play was slow developing, Andy, but it almost paid off with Big Crowley in front of the Grosse Pointe South net.
Southgate Anderson's really going to the net. Anything that gets directed at Nesler, they're really going hard for the rebound. And I talked to Frank before the game, and that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Here we'll see a replay of some hard work almost paying off for the Titans.
And you'll see the Southgate team come to the net real hard on this with Pat Crowley in front. Two other players there looking for rebounds.
Nesler held it out. We'll get a face-off deep in Grosse Pointe South territory. Crowley chases it deep in the corner for the Titans. Now here's Wright digging it out of the corner. He was checked on the play by Quinn, and Quinn will dump it to center ice. Now Cook back at his own blue line, dumps it back into Blue Devil territory. Wright tips it to center, and it's Cook for Southgate dumping it back in. Southgate going to the forechecking game here. No score. We've got 7:10 left in the first period. Now here's Olmstead dumping it into Titan territory. Cook behind his net plays it up the boards for Sage. Can't get it out. Burke kept it in for Grosse Pointe South left point. Played it behind the Titan net. Wright bodied off the play by Zimmerman. Wright persists behind the net, bodied by Zimmerman. Now it's Gehring with it. Ahead for Sage. He's having problems with it. The Blue Devils keeping it in with some forechecking of their own. Now right point. This is Quinn. Dumping it in deep. Olmstead will chase it along the left wing boards. Bodied off the play by Cook. Behind the net for Wright. Wright back on the point for Quinn. Pitching in a shot. Fired it wide. And the puck deflects all the way to center ice. Burke for the Blue Devils. Dumps it to the Southgate bench. Now here's Clevenger, fresh on the ice over the blue line. It's onside, but Burke will clear it away. And here come the Blue Devils. It was Clark checking his man at center ice for the Titans. Now Grosse Pointe South on a line change, and the Titans will dump it down the ice. Nesler plays it for Peter Burke. He's bodied off the play by Clark. Centered by Clevenger, nobody there. Now Cecil comes in, got a big hit on number 19 Burke as the puck is cleared down the ice. Now Morale going in on Cecil. Morale took the puck away, took a shot that fluttered wide. Cecil, deep in his own zone, takes a look. Up for Clevenger, and Clevenger dumps it to neutral ice. Clark bodied off the play by Morale. Morale knocked down on the play, dumps it into the Southgate zone. Now Cecil for the Titans, dumps it into the Grosse Pointe South zone. Chasing it is Auld and Clark. Clark won that battle. Now a shot from the bad angle by Clevenger, the save by Nesler. Auld up the boards for Morale. He's tired and he'll clear it down the ice as he goes to the bench. 5 minutes left in the first period. A fast-paced first period. No score between Grosse Pointe South and Southgate Anderson. Now Matthews on a rush over the Blue Devil line. Tries to center for Patterson. A shot by Patterson. And Nesler looked behind him, but he made the save. Now Hayes behind the Blue Devil net. Looking for a play, gives it to Matthews, right wing. Matthews got Burke in front of him. Tries to work around him. But he was checked on the play by Crane, and Burke comes back for the Blue Devils. He was hammered at the Southgate blue line by Patterson. Lost his stick, and he's going to the bench. Now Crane in front, and a tip shot by Pappas, a save by Nagy. His best save of the game so far. Now it's back to neutral ice, and Hayes has it for Southgate. Checked by number 6, Bill Quinn. Quinn lost it, and Burke will collect it in his own zone. Peter Burke had a couple of brothers played for this team. He'll dump it into the Southgate zone and go to the bench. Matthews in his own zone. Being bodied by Wright. Now Patty involved in along with Patterson and number 16 Olmstead, and we'll get a stoppage in play with 3:48 left in a very fast first period.
Boy, the pace has really picked up here, Pete. There are a lot of hard hits going on right now. Looks like if Pappas can control that puck in front, it could be trouble for Nagy.
Saw a picture of John Olmstead, and now we're going to see another good Southgate scoring chance. Nesler looked behind him, but actually a good play there by Burke prevented the goal, the puck from going over the goal line. Play back underway. Gehring back to Zimmerman in his own zone. Long headman pass. Here's a great defensive play by Tucker. Knocked it away from the onrushing Scott Wright, and we'll get a stoppage in play. That one might have been offside anyway.
Well, that was...
Now we're going to see the play by Pappas, Andy.
Boy, if Pappas can just hang on to this puck, it could be trouble for Nagy, and Nagy stays right with him, but it just couldn't, Pappas just couldn't control it.
Here we see the Grosse Pointe South coach, Tim Zimmerman. He's got to be happy with the event so far. It's no score, 3:35 left in the first period. Pete Krupski and Andy Weidenbach bringing this one to you from Jack Arena. Now they score! Or do they score? We'll have to wait and see. The light was on, and I don't know if it went in. We'll have to wait. Rick Wheeler, the official, is counting it. He's conferring, and I don't think we're going to get a goal here. Got a shot of the goal, Judge, and he says, hey, it went in. But he doesn't know. We'll take a look. Might have been a high stick or something. The play was made by Scott Wright, number 9.
Looks like it's right on the goal line, rolling across, hit the inside of the pipe, came out the back door. No goal.
So Kevin Nesler will kiss those goal pipes. Chime time for the Southgate Anderson Titans as Rick Wheeler talking to the goal judge right now.
That was definitely not a goal, as we can see on the replay.
Let's take another look, and you'll see it. We have a good look here.
Crowley makes a great play here to get a stick on this puck. But it's right on the goal line, and it's rolling across. And it's pretty obvious that it didn't go in.
The light went on, but as John Bartolotta, the public address announcer, has said, the puck hit the post, rang off the chime, and never went over the goal line.
Great call by the officials on that one.
Absolutely. Veteran officials here that we have, Rick Wheeler, along with Jim Gagliard and Mike McComb. Now Wright for Grosse Pointe South, dumps it to Southgate territory. Zimmerman brings it back in, but number 22, Gehring, was caught offside, so we'll get a face-off on the play.
Zimmerman took a heck of a chance on that one. He stayed up on the blue line. If they get that puck by him, it's 2-on-1 all the way down.
There we see his stats on the play. All-state candidate. He'll probably make it for the second straight year. So we've had some excitement here early in this game, and Southgate Anderson take away 2 goalposts, they might have a 2-0 lead, but it's a scoreless game with 3 minutes left in the first period. Now Burke in his own zone, and the Blue Devils break it out. It was McCracken, checked it down the play by Clark. Now Zimmerman in his own zone, gets it ahead to center ice. Sage tipped it ahead, but it was intercepted by Rojas, and he dumps it into Titan territory. A scrum for the puck in the Titan zone, and we'll get a stoppage in play. As some glaring between Sage of Southgate and McCracken of Grosse Pointe South ends with that. Just some stares and maybe some editorial comments that we can't hear.
Well, the tempo of this game has really picked up in these last 4 or 5 minutes. You can see both teams are really getting into this one. The first couple minutes, it looked like they were more or less feeling each other out, trying to play conservative, but it's really opened up as of late.
The Blue Devils with McCracken, Rojas, and number 18, Morale out there. The Titans with Cecil, Witt, and number 8, Caldwell. Of course, Mark Caldwell, the younger brother of Jeff Caldwell, one of the original Southgate Anderson Titans, and we'll have a face-off just outside the Titan zone. We see the original Titan coach, Frank DeCristofaro. Now Landis in his own zone, plays it up on the boards, and the puck will be cleared to center ice. Patty plays it off the glass, and it'll go out of play into the Grosse Pointe South bench. Pushing and shoving between Cecil of Southgate and Rojas of Grosse Pointe South. Nothing will come of that, as we see Tim Zimmerman there. Very cool, very calm, and very collected. Good coach.
Very good coach, Pete. This team has really played discipline. I'm really impressed with the way they're picking up their checks in the offensive zone.
Now off the face-off of neutral ice, this is Zimmerman. Dancing to center ice. Zimmerman will play it off the boards into Blue Devil territory. Nesler played it behind the net. It was picked up by Witt, who tried to center it. It went to neutral ice. Now Amagoni throws it back into the Grosse Pointe South zone. Pappas took a look, lost the puck, as he was checked on the play by number 8, Caldwell. Now the puck is cleared down the ice, and we get a whistle on the play, and perhaps some penalties. Cecil, who's been throwing his weight around all night long, is going off with number 10, Mike Kiskall. So we'll get the game's first penalties. Cecil for Grosse Pointe for Southgate, and Kiskall for Grosse Pointe South.
These guys were going at it earlier before the last drop, and it was inevitable it was going to happen. Looked like they were just John, and finally the referee had enough, and he decided to put him in the box.
Well, interesting, you look at a veteran referee like Rick Wheeler. He saw them going on, as you said, and he was going to let it go, but they kept going, and he said, hey, that's enough.
Enough's enough.
Exactly.
Good call.
Now Zimmerman over the Grosse Pointe South line, going wide and coming in front with a shot, saved by Nesler. Centered in front, they score! Patterson makes it 1-0. The play made by Eric Zimmerman. And maybe that penalty paid off because the teams were skating at far side, Andy, and that opened up the ice for Zimmerman.
Yeah, it's definitely an advantage for Southgate. If they can play 3-on-3 or 4-on-4, they have the skilled team, and it's definitely an advantage for them. This is a great pass here. Zimmerman penetrates low. The rebound comes out. Right in the prime scoring area. Bingo, right through the legs of Nesler. Not much he could do on that one.
It was either Patterson or Matthews. I think it was Patterson, but we'll check the official scoring for you. In any case, the Titans have a 1-0 lead with 1:35 left in the first period. Now Matthews battling for Southgate behind the Grosse Pointe South goal. Takes it to the right wing. Now the Blue Devils will get it out. A pass for Wawerson. Now here's number 4, Amagoni, dumping it back into Grosse Pointe South territory. Now here's Wawerson on a rush for the Blue Devils. Checked on the play by Chuck Matthews. Good play by Matthews. Matthews ahead for Zimmerman, way ahead of the play. save. A long shot by Zimmerman, saved by Nesler. Zimmerman's got it left wing, backhand shot, saved by Nesler. Now it's all, tries to get out, gave it to Zimmerman. Zimmerman, one move, comes in, took a shot, and a save by Nesler. As almost a Cardinal giveaway, a Cardinal sin by all, and a great shift for Eric Zimmerman.
Boy, this Zimmerman is a threat. He's down deep again. He's carrying that puck. He's setting things up. He's really a terrific offensive player.
Here we're going to see the replay. Zimmerman here, a long shot, and he's just going to keep going after the puck.
He's got great hands here. He controls the puck well. He gets 2 shots on net. He's really an offensive threat. Here he comes again. He makes another great move. Zimmerman's in, and he gets his 3rd shot on net on one shift. Not bad for a defenseman.
And he's still on the ice, and off the faceoff, Hayes a high shot, knocked down by Nesler, and we'll get a stoppage in play. So the Titans have drawn first blood. It's 1-0 with 41 seconds left in the first period. Crowley for Southgate up front along with Hayes. And it's Crane for the Blue Devils, losing the faceoff but picking up the puck and skating to center ice. Crane and Pappas, 2-on-2 over the line. Crane, a long shot from the left wing over top of the Southgate net. Pappas forechecking in the offensive zone, they keep it alive. Puck squirts in front, Nagy takes no chances, drops it to Zimmerman. Plays it up to an open wing, it's Quinn keeping it in for the Blue Devils. 15 seconds left in the first period. Now Crane behind the tight net, drops it for Pappas. Pappas will set it up there. Pappas centers in front, and Crane just missed it. And Crowley will take it down the ice as the buzzer sounds, ending a very entertaining first period. The only goal of the game scored by Southgate Anderson.
What a hit by Zimmerman down there on Pappas. He was on for about 2.5 minutes on that shift, and he really did a good job.
So after one period of play, it's Southgate Anderson 1, Grosse Pointe South nothing. We'll be back with more of the game between Southgate Anderson and Grosse Pointe South right after this.